or a GT car or something or other. This is going to be his possibly his swan song from touring car racing. He's been for many, many years at the forefront of touring car racing globally. He's been a multiple champion in world and national championships, and yeah, it could be a lot of long goodbyes going on this evening or later tonight. I think with Muller,
it's the time and major commitment. You know, you're away 7-8 months of the year, and he's got a young family again. He's got enough money. He's earned enough money. He's, you know, very comfortable, and it's that time he wants to probably start enjoying himself. You know, it's especially if he's potentially going to a drive where he's not going to earn the revenue that he's been used to.
Absolutely right, and not potentially have the success that he's been used to as well. You don't want to drop your standards too far, plus, as you say, it is a massive demand on his time, and he has other fish to fry at the moment. Green lights on, green flag waves here at Doha in Qatar, and the cars will start to move away from the grid. There is James Thompson, starts in 14th place in the All-Inkle sponsored Munich Motorsport Chevrolet Cruise. Jimmy T and Tom Coronel on the same row of the grid, and right behind them, John Philippi and James Thompson with the swivelly cam. That's its actual name, you know.
It's probably because it's from Australia. They like nice, simple things.
Not actually called the swivelly cam.
It's not just on Jimmy's car. There's on a couple of others, isn't it, in car? So it's it's a great camera angle.
Really handily for fans. 3 yellow cars in a row there. Nicky Katzberg, Hugo Vallant, and Tom Coronel. Brilliant.
Hello, everyone. We are here in the circuit of Losail, Qatar, for the last race of WTCC. A very special race for us, for Citroën and Ivan and I. It's the last race, the end of an era for us. So a lot of mixed feelings. Difficult to say what you feel, what I feel in this moment. But yeah, I want to enjoy. Thank you very much for the support. It's been an amazing 3 seasons. It's not a goodbye, it's a see you later. You know, I will be back one day. And now let's try to do a good race, enjoy. As always, the inverse grid race is very fun. We will try to do it the best we can and enjoy this beautiful circuit. Now we are in turn 10, going for the triple fast corners to the right. Very important. Yeah, main problem today and now is how you pass the guys in front. You know, I think the main point is the straight line, but also it's very important to do a good braking in the last corner and in the first one. Enjoy the race. Now I'm getting ready for the start. Let's try to make a good start and a good race. Thank you very much for the support again, and thank you very much to WTCC and especially Citroën Racing, all the family. I'm gonna miss you a lot. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Well, he is going to be very much missed by an awful lot of fans, Matt. He's been a massively charismatic addition to the championship, not just in terms of in the car, but outside the car as well. Always chatty, always friendly.
He's a lovely bloke. Yeah. He didn't include us on his list. His people he's going to miss, though.
No, he's not going to miss us, is he? However,
no, he's a charming guy.
However, he is taking some, or he will be with some of his colleagues from the Citroën Racing team when he's part of the DS Virgin outfit, and he's already started that voyage with that voyage of discovery with DS Virgin in Formula E. So he won't entirely be away from colleagues that he's got to know over the last 3 seasons. Tom Chilton has led the field around this Losail International Circuit and Doha, Qatar. He is sitting on pole position, everybody up lining behind him. Tom Chilton on the right-hand side of your picture, Gabriele Tarquini on the left. The dark blue Volvo, that is Ted Björk in third, Robert Dahlgren in third place rather, Thiago Montero, Rob Huff and Norbert Michelis line up 4th, 5th and 6th in their Hondas. Who will lead the field into the first corner? Tom Chilton hopes it'll be him. Red lights will come on. And when they go off, we'll be into race 21 of the season. A very quick turnaround, too quick for Robert Dahlgren. He's going to get passed from behind by Rob Huff, who made an excellent start. Norbert Michelis blocking behind. Huff's gone all the way down the inside onto the dirt to try and move up into 3rd place, and around the outside goes Dahlgren. Next corner is also a long right and then into the long left, and Chilton having to defend hard against Gabriele Tarquini, and Rob Huff still around the outside of Robert Dahlgren, and he's really making his bid to try and win this race, Huffy, isn't he, despite feeling fairly unwell. And still a battle, Matt Neal, for the lead of the race. Chilton clinging on from Tarquini. Great start from Chilton, but a meteoric start from Huffy to come up from the 4th row there. So he's definitely on the move, but Tarquini's definitely got Chilton under pressure. But now he's got his mirrors full of Huff. Which of the two Citroens is that inside Dahlgren? Somebody's gone far off on the left-hand side. It's a Honda, and that has got to be Thiago Monteiro, and a Volvo Lada, and that's got to be Hugo Vallant. Of course, it's Hugo Vallant, and a Volvo. No, just the blue lights of Monteiro. That looks like the rear wheel of Monteiro is gone, so that's contact from behind in a corner. Look at the other Lada there. Down the inside, turned around almost, is Nicky Katzberg by Mehdi Benani, and he nearly shunts out Jose Maria Lopez, who's off somewhere on his way to Abu Dhabi. He's so far off track. Also, Ivan Muller got right up early on as well. Safety car is out because Thiago Monteiro's car is by a tyre stack, just waiting to be hit by somebody. So Tom Chilton will bring the field under control with Gabriele Tarquini already reining it right in. That's the experience of Tarquini there. Immediately, safety car, right, lift right off the first straight bit of road you get to. He definitely had Chilton under pressure for the first few corners, and then he... And look at Muller, he's up to 5th place. Don't forget, they weren't quite at the bottom of the top 10. Ivan Muller started 7th. He followed Rob Huff, where he didn't follow Rob Huff at all. It's the right rear of Thiago Monteiro's car. That does not make for good viewing, but he needs to get it back to the pits now so that they've got a chance to fix it during the race, and he can take up his grid spot. He can't. He's obviously decided that it is not going to drive. The wheel is still attached, but it's zigzagging the car all over the place. And this might be the end of the weekend, the end of the season for Thiago Monteiro. Yeah, if it is, it'll be a rotten end because he's had such a strong year. But now he's trying to get out of the car. Luckily, it's not a light because the driver's door doesn't seem to want to open. It had a bit of a ding in it on the side.
Somebody pushed me to Lopez, and Lopez then hit me back. Stupid.
And this is one of the problems when you've got an awful lot of very, very charged up drivers in very, very equal cars. Let's see if we can pick out what happens in the background. Oh my word. It's the tyre stack that's done the damage. Yeah, the tyre stack shut the door. Somebody else hit him. Was it from behind, from the Volvo? Certainly it wasn't Hugo Vallant. Vallant was absolutely, desperately trying to avoid trouble there. He might have been hit from behind, Thiago, by the Volvo under braking, which then cannoned him through the corner and out wide into Lopez. I'd like to see that again if we could. Here's Lopez. Right, who's hit him? It's Monteiro. The Volvo in his mirrors. Look at the Volvo. No, the Volvo was further back. Thiago's been the aggressor on Lopez on the way into the corner. And I can only think Lopez has not wanted to be pushed wide because then there's the tyre stack. Yeah. So he's held his line. Well, he's held his line. As Monteiro's come across, but turned Monteiro across him, and that's pitched him into the tyre stack. But how did Monteiro end up going so deep? Hugo Vallant was the innocent party. Absolutely he was. And again, trouble comes, finds a Citroen, and it seems to have all its wheels still pointing in the right direction. Now, what we didn't see is whether someone hit Thiago on the way into the corner, which pitched him into Lopez to start with. Well, there was a Volvo very close in his mirrors, but I thought it was a little bit early for it to have actually caused that much of a run-off line from Thiago, but then I'm not a driver.
Valent's had a rotten weekend, hasn't he?
Hasn't he, really? Do you know, we were talking before qualifying, weren't we? You know, in free practice, I said, if there's one driver in the Lada team for whom bad luck always makes a beeline, it has been Valent. You know, his teammates have won races in the Ladas. What's Lopez got to say?
I don't know what he wanted to do. I don't know what he wanted to do. But it's okay, it's enough race anyway.
Well, Lopez clearly knows who hit him, doesn't know why, and that's one of the problems when you're sort of the last one in the chain. Take a look again in the middle. There is Montero and the Volvo behind.
Oh, did Jimmy hit him?
No, that was Bernani.
Oh, right.
That was Bernani hitting Katzberg into Lopez.
Right, sorry, yeah.
Obviously, that was previously when Lopez got hit by somebody. And then again. So there's Lopez.
Oh, there was no gap there.
Is that Thiago's bumper cam?
No.
No, that's Bernani's bumper cam. That was the previous one where he knocked Katzberg into Lopez. So that's
two cars are side by side going into a corner.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going? Where do you think they're going to go? Just disappear into thin air?
Yeah, he got in too quick for his own good there, didn't he? And for theirs as well.
Well, he saw half a gap, but I don't know where he expected the other cars to go to.
Especially on the opening lap. Race distance has gone up from 12 to 14 laps. We're allowed to add up to 2 laps to the race distance to allow for 2 of the safety car laps. So we're on our second lap of the safety car. And you can see the little side modesty panel, if you like, on the Citroën has taken some damage. It'll shrug that off. Thiago Montero's car less... Oh, race suspended, red flag. So they will need to get a flatbed to go and rescue that car in the estimation of Mirek Bartos.
Now, are Honda allowed to get their hands back on that if they bring it back on a flatbed?
Well, if they bring it back on a flatbed, if
or
they
does
bring
it go
it back...
straight to Parc Fermé?
No, because if he drove it back in during the race, or they
that's
bring
a
it back
different
into
thing.
pit lane, it doesn't make any difference.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure, but I'm trying to rack my brains. I think we have seen cars, and again, I'm going to think
So
maybe
as it
Hugo
was first
Valent's
lap,
car.
as it was only on lap 1, do we restart the race
No,
completely?
because we've completed 3 laps already.
Yeah, they're going to run out of fuel.
Well, the lucky thing here is they're not going to run out of daylight, since they started with no daylight in the tank and we've got lights. Of course, if the generator runs out of fuel and they haven't got 50p for the meter, then that's an entirely different
So
thing.
it would be a rolling start, unlike Formula 1, which is going back to a standing start.
Can we not even get
It's
into the
announced today.
latest silly ideas that Formula 1 have come up with to make racing even more tedious? So we're going back. We're now going into a grid position based on not the original grid sheet, but on where you are. So if you're third, you'll go into grid spot 3. If you're fourth, you're going to grid spot 4. It's not where you started, it's where you are now as the race is suspended. So it's sort of shuffling the grid around. Robert Dahlgren goes from 3rd to 4th. Rob Huff goes from 5th to 3rd. And teams are getting ready to go and join the cars. We will go into our second start procedure in 15 minutes from now. Cars on the grid as the race is suspended after 3 of 14 laps. So we've had 2 safety car laps, a bit of a race lap, and we now have the cars back on the grid in the race positions in which they were when the red flag came out. So in the positions in which they were in the end of the previously completed lap. Let's hear from Hugo Valent, who is back in the pits.
Hugo, who's having a bit of a disaster of a day. Let's just have a little look. I mean, talk us through what happened from your perspective there.
Well, I had a pretty good start. I think I gained some position, and here, as we can see, I mean, it's exactly what happened I think 2 years ago in Thailand. I think Thiago went just accelerated, and obviously we get under C on the throttle. He had he had Pechito next to him, which hit him on the back, and he just went flying to the right. And unfortunately, I was there, so I think bad place at the bad time. Just trying to see the onboard. Yeah, and then it just accelerates, and yeah, and here I am. Yeah, well, I think he pushed Pechito a bit in the hairpin, and then Pechito gave him back, but I was there, so didn't turn out great for me. Yeah, it's just a shame. I hope we can do a race 2, and yeah, it's annoying because I think I was P8 or something, so could have scored some points already, but it's
car
not my
fixed
season.
and get ready for the main race.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll push. Yeah.
Well, Hugo definitely needs to find the bad luck magnet that's been following him round all season and hurl it into the deepest bit of sea he can find. Jose Maria Lopez.
So the race will
Now,
be
who was
resumed in
that
15
coming in the
minutes.
passenger's door? Was that another driver coming in? Not sure.
Yeah, from that, just looking at the replays on my other monitor, it does seem like it's Montero fell on his own sword on that one, and Valente was the innocent victim.
Seems okay. Only the underfloor is a bit broken, but it's still fine. Clearly a front left contact.
Well, they've got a chance to gaffer up bits and pieces, and actually that front splitter where they're working, that left front corner, that's the one that's going to have most effect on the car if it is leaking or bleeding air away. The little bit down the side, the door protector, yeah, really a bit neither here nor there. Of course, in a perfect situation and in a wind tunnel and yada, 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 but when you're out there racing, it's actually not going to have that much effect. There'll be more effect from the turbulent air from a car in front.
So are they going to do a green flag lap after this one?
Well, this is a replay of the start, unless they're just going to give them another grid start.
Murphy had a monstrous start.
Yeah, and he had to go around Montero as well. Was Jimmy Thompson rolling about a day before the lights changed from the way back there?
Montero squeezes him. Murphy's having none of it. Gets down.
And then Robert Dahlgren around the outside. Look how quick Muller got off the line as well. Don't forget, he was a row behind Huff, came the other side of all that traffic.
Montero, you can see him looking across.
Yeah.
At Huff, and he still squeezes him.
Yeah, he's going, hang a minute, what? Where are you coming from?
Well,
Where do you think you're going?
You know, he wants to stay in front of Muller for get as many points as possible.
Yeah, Muller went the long way around the outside. Ivan really took the bull by the horns there, because when you put yourself on the outside and there's all these cars, he could see them shuffling up hard down the inside. He could have been, you know, the one on the outside that gets knocked out of bed. But he grabbed the main chance there, and he now lines up behind Rob Huff on the grid, or the temporary grid. Now, the problem, of course, if they do another standing start, a grid start, is that that's another full-bore racing start in the clutches, and they've actually got the main race to go as well. And you don't want to compromise people's ability to start the main race by having a standing start here. So I have a feeling they will be led off by the safety car in order, and then the safety car will pull in and off they will go. And one of the reasons that the drivers have to wait for a flatbed, by the way, is that the access roads behind the barriers here in Qatar are designed like the rest of the circuit for MotoGP, which is great. You can get a motorbike or a scooter into a lot of places, and unfortunately you can't get a touring car in there. So as a result, it has to be done by recovering the cars on the main highway. I don't actually mean the main highway outside the circuit, I mean the actual racing surface, and so that's why pretty much everything comes down to a red flag. Well, here's some of the artwork on the bonnet of Ivan Muller's car. It goes across the bonnet and over the roof, and lots of different faces. All of them seem vaguely familiar. Has he nodded off? Bless him.
Probably.
Poor old chap. They shouldn't be making him stay up this late at his advanced age. Oh, somebody's going to tell him I'm going to be massive, massive trouble. One day, probably not soon, but one day it'll all come back. Daniel Adge and Ferenc Fischer finding themselves sandwiching a couple of larders and in front of Jose Maria Lopez. Could be an interesting little dynamic once they get going once more. And Norbert Michelitz, where's he going to restart? In 6th position. So in the queue, here's the order they will go behind the safety car. Chilton, Tarquini, Huff, then Dahlgren's Volvo, Muller and Michelis. Then Ted Bjork's Volvo in 7th, Mehdi Benani 8th, James Thompson 9th, Daniel Nadge 10th. Then Nicky Katzberg and Tom Coronel 11th and 12th. Noticing any 3-time world champions that I've missed? Well, he will be next up in the queue, Jose Maria Lopez in 13th, ahead of Ferenc Fischer in 14th position. We will not have a Hugo Vallant. We will not have a Thiago Montero. So the back of the queue will be consisting of John Philippi and Gregoire de Moustier. Let's take a look again.
Yeah, it's...
There's Montero on the inside.
And as he comes out...
No, he just runs wide into Lopez.
Yeah.
He is absolutely not hit in that corner, I'm afraid.
You're right.
Again, you know, does he get cannoned into early enough?
No, no one anywhere near.
No. See, it's the Volvo Tebia. I mean, you're the driver, and so you kind of understand the dynamics. I'm looking at that and saying, when he comes into shot, has he already been shunted too far through the braking area and through the corner? Both rear wheels. Suspension arms. You were right when you said, oh, it looks like the one we could see was the left rear when we were looking at it from the front.
That's serious rear wheel steering, isn't it?
And then some. No wonder he couldn't get it back. One, you might just about get away with. Two,
like he's got knock knees.
Well, you're probably dragging it on the front wheels and the exhaust box there, aren't you? Because the rear wheels are doing nothing.
Doing much good.
Another of my great cliches is that rear wheels in a front-wheel drive touring car basically serve to keep the exhaust off the ground, and they weren't even doing that, were they?
So anyway, we got Huffy in 3rd. If he can, just ideally hope he's allowed to keep that 3rd place.
Well, no, he will, because the race is underway. So we've had 3 laps.
We could have a good race on hands. He's starting 5th on the grid.
Well, Huffy
he
3rd.
He could have a crack at winning this. Never mind getting a podium.
Muller 5th. You know, and what's always been the problem with Muller? Having Lopez right behind him. Lopez is 13th. He won't be right behind him for a lap or 2.
How is the damage on Hugo's car? Yeah, pretty bad, mate. So the guys are trying to fix it now. Yeah, suspension damage in the front end. But looked like he got extremely unlucky there with 2 cars crashing into him.
That's unusual hearing Katzberg's radio transmissions without any profanities on it.
Well, he's not driving, he's not complaining about anything at the moment.
I'm going to miss him next year if he's not involved, because he has been entertainment. He's been spectacularly fast. So he's been great on track, but great off it as well.
Well, let's hear what Thiago Montero has in terms of thoughts about that accident.
Down here with naturally very, very frustrated Thiago Montero. Thiago, from your perspective, can you talk us through what happened?
Yeah, a lot of things happened at the same time. There was a lot of contact. I was pushed from behind at the braking. I myself then touched Pechito at the braking and then go inside. And when I'm on the gas, I just feel again a big hit from the right side. And, you know, it's everybody's trying, it's the first lap, everybody's trying very hard to go. So I'm not really blaming anybody, but from there, you know, yeah, it looks on the image that somebody hits me even before, well, it's Pechito, yeah. So he touched me on the rear right, my rear tire broke. I spin into the tire pack, which is, again, another reason why we shouldn't have tire packs there. I mean, my car is really badly damaged because of that. And I didn't even see there was Hugo involved. Yeah, one of those first lap things, really frustrating, really, really, really frustrating.
What extent of damage is done to your car?
Quite a lot. I mean, as you could see now, when I try to start again, both rear wishbones are broke, doors are damaged, but I mean, I don't know if it's repairable or not. The mechanics will try everything, of course, to at least start the second race. You know, we don't give up, we never give up, but that's not the way I wanted to finish the season, that's for sure.
Well, let's hope he does get a chance to finish the season with a race. But the mechanics will have to work very hard to try and get both entire rear corners replaced before the end of this race. They have a slight head start because we're not yet racing. We are about to get back underway.
There's some incidents which are defensible and different points of view, and I can't see how Thiago could defend on that one. He did look the aggressor going on Lopez going into the corner and then seemed to get one back, or just asked for a bit too much on the exit. Well,
now they will be looking at the incident in turn 10, so we'll have to see what comes of that. So that's Nicky Katzberg and Mehdi Banani. Well, Katzberg, I think, has nothing to answer there. It's very hard to be responsible for an incident if you're in front. Possibly Mehdi Banani, this might not be his race. Don't forget, he should start the main race from pole position. So if there is a penalty for Mehdi Banani, he will want it to be a drive-through, which he serves in this race, or a time penalty added to the end, although there is plenty of time to serve a drive-through, rather than any grid penalty applied to race 2. So he doesn't want a grid penalty for the main race. What he would, if he's going to get penalised, take the medicine now when you're down in 7th place and do the drive-through, and then focus on the main race and starting from your first career pole position. So here we go, Matt. Now it's time to build yourself up to speed, get your head back into gear, really start to focus and bring yourself back to the position where you are ready to restart the race.
Yeah, the likes of Huffy, their tails up because they've moved forward, so they've got to capitalise on that. And the likes of Dahlgren, who've slipped back from their original grid position, they've just got to take stock and start with a completely fresh head.
Cars on their final formation lap. Again, as we get ready to restart the race. 3 laps completed, and I suspect this will count as lap number 4. Race was red flagged after 2 laps of safety car and the opening lap.
Some people say, why is Muller number 68, but that is the year of his birth.
No, that is the number of the arrondissement in France where he lives.
It's also the year of his birth.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I was definitely told that 68 was the number where he lives. Not sure what the 37 is with Pachito. That's definitely not the year of his birth. Or 73. 73? No, I don't think 73 is even the year of his birth. He's too young for that as well. So there are our friends at Lada, and where we see them next, they are unlikely to be wearing Lada clothing. Safety car will pull off, and has pulled off, and we go green now. Tom Chilton leading, Gabriele Tarquini right behind him. Gabriele Tarquini might be the least young driver in the field, but that is borne out by tons of experience, and he got alongside Chilton 2 or 3 times in the opening lap, Matt Neal, after a great start from the front row. And this time he allows Chilton to outbrake himself, and Gabriele goes through for the lead, and that is the old fox at his very best. Just gives Chilton enough rope to hang himself.
Crikey.
And now look at Tom Chilton, he's under pressure from Rob Huff, and Tarquini is gone. Tarquini needs a drive next year. He thought he had one, he'd signed for Lada, and then, oh, Huff inside the Volvo. Dahlgren's still there on the outside. The Volvo's tough as well, isn't it? Well, that's sort of what you expect from them. And look, do you see how close Muller got to the tyre stack?
Michelitz. Oh, and then the Volvo get involved.
Volvo's got broken suspension. It was, or has it? It was bounced up in the air for some reason. Something's wrong with Dahlgren's car. Ted Björk goes around the outside. No, it looked as though it sort of was being bounced up on its own wheel there somehow, but in fact he got away with it. So Tarquini leads. Chilton 2nd, then Huff in 3rd, then Muller in 4th, the red and black Citroen, then Norbert Michaelis. The 2 Volvos are Ted Björk and Robert Dahlgren. Dahlgren, don't forget, started 3rd. He's now been shuffled back to 7th place. And Tarquini is actually building the gap over Chilton, because Chilton's not even looking at the Italian mat. He's trying to hold off Rob Huff, and a massive lock-up. Guaranteed it won't be from Huff. Drive through for Mehdi Banani. There you go. That's exactly what I suspected, and probably the best that he could have hoped for. This is not his race to fight. This was Chilton's race, starting from pole to fight for. Banani's focus will be entirely on race 2. Maybe that's what he was thinking about on lap 1 when he made contact with Nicky Katzberg.
Chilton does seem to be the cork in the bottle at the moment, but Tarquini's got to make hay while the sun shines with that and see if he can get as much air in between him and the others.
Banani comes through immediately, even before it's officially up on the screen. He's serving his drive-through penalty, and that's the way to do it. Take the medicine out. They knew it was going to come. As soon as that came up on the screen that he was being investigated, you knew, I knew, everybody at home knew. Oh, look in the background. That's Ferenc Fischer and the larder of Nicky Katzberg, wheel to wheel. Those Zengo Motorsport Hondas, we said this in free practice, he's in front of Katzberg. Katzberg takes a tighter inside line behind the Volvos. So that's it's Daniel Nagy. That's a battle for 9th place.
I thought they were going into the fire stack again there.
Have either of the Zengo drivers scored points? Well, he's got by Nagy, and so has Lopez. Lopez goes around the outside of Daniel Nagy, and Tom Coronel and Ferenc Fischer are crowding up behind the 19-year-old Daniel Nagy. Is he 19 or is he 16? I forget now. They're so ridiculous. I know, so ridiculously young. So Lopez is squeezed by. Those two Zengo Hondas looking very competitive in free practice too.
Very competitive, much more competitive all weekend, haven't they, in comparative lap times?
7th and 9th outright in free practice too. Couldn't match that in qualifying. Not sure they found much more pace in qualifying. Maybe they didn't have an extra notch to turn the engine up in qualifying, or didn't want to use it. But in race terms, well, they're battling with Tom Coronel and John Philippi. And they're ahead of Grégoire de Moustier and Mehdi Banani some while back after his drive-through as well.
Tarquini's sprinting off into the distance at the moment, a second lap quicker than...
Tarquini, 2:01.78, his first flying lap. See what Nicky Katzberg produces in the only other healthy larder. Grégoire de Moustier in the Sébastien Loeb Racing Citroën behind John Philippi. There's Tarquini, the gap now close to 3 seconds. It was 2.06 at the line last time. That has got to be the better part of 3 seconds now. Rob Huff still harassing for second place. And Daniel Nagy under pressure from Tom Coronel. Coronel getting his nose on the inside into turn 1. Chilton kicking up the dust in turn 2. Huff still all over him, and Muller not close enough yet to challenge Huff. Behind them, Norbert Michaelis in 5th, then Ted Björk, Robert Dahlgren, James Thompson 8th, Nicky Katzberg 9th, Jose Maria Lopez in 10th. And that was the move ahead of Daniel Nagy, so Nagy out of the points at the moment. Wouldn't want to put an awful lot of money on all the cars in front of him finishing this race necessarily, though. This could all get a bit tetchy. Midway through our opening race here in Qatar. Tyre stacko cam, that's a thing. It gives you a great camera view. I'm not sure what happens if it gets shunted. Thiago Montero's car is back. It's back on dolly wheels. Never mind the doors, it's the rear suspension on both sides that needs fixing. They've got 7 laps to complete it. Because once the checkered flag comes out, the car will have to go into parc fermé or be dropped right to the back of the grid. I'm not sure actually which is the bigger penalty.
This could be quite interesting, Martin. If they get Thiago's car repaired for the second race, he'll be starting behind the other two, and there'll be less than 9 points splitting the 3 Honda drivers with Montero in front. Montero will be on 204, Nor will be on 200, and Huffy on 195.
That's why Matt's being quiet, everybody. He's been counting. Nicky Katzberg inside James Thompson. Well, somebody had to do it, and I can't. And Katzberg gives James Thompson a little lover's tap on the outside, and off goes Tomo. So Katzberg up to 8th place. That was a touring car pass. That wasn't a cynical move. Huff on the inside. Little bit of an overlap there with Chilton for second. Can't get through. Thompson in front of Lopez and stuck behind Nicky Katzberg now.
Tarquini still setting fastest laps of the race out front. He's a good second clear.
Swivelly roof cam not looking anywhere like as far through the corner as the drivers are. Here comes Huff around the outside of Chilton. Is he going to get this done? No, 4 and 5, double right-handers. So he came through the inside on turn 2, sat there on the inside of the right-hander at turn 3, but the right-handers at 4 and 5, there's no mileage in staying on the outside there. So through turn 6, the kind of hairpinny bit, and up to turn 7.
Yeah, it's a shame Tom didn't manage to be this defensive with Gabrielli. We could have had a real good scrap on for first place, but he just seemed to get overcook it into turn 1, get a bit flustered, and Tarquini didn't want to be asked twice.
Watched his mirrors too closely going into turn 1, didn't he? And he'll be cursing himself all the way to the checkered flag because of that, because there was a win waiting to happen for Tom Chilton, and he gave it away. Tarquini sold him the deep into turn 1, and Tom took it hook, line and sinker. Now, with that little battle in front, suddenly at turn 5 and 4 and 5, Muller was right up behind them, and here we are, a third of a lap later, he's nowhere. Huff goes out very wide indeed.
A few of them do on the old track limits.
Hello, where's that tyre stack gone? I thought there was a tyre stack there at turn 9 before. There is at the exit of turn 10, and Lopez goes the long way around the outside, because that really is going to split the difference if you hit those head on. In fact, that was 15, wasn't it? That flat out left-hander.
The old track limits obviously doesn't apply at this meeting.
Yeah, limit schmimit. Here comes Huff. Again, trying to get the overlap down the inside.
Thought he was putting his nose in there.
Thought he might sell it early to Chilton, but Chilton wasn't having it.
He's trying to get Chilton to crack just like Tarquini did, but
he really is, isn't he?
He's holding on at the moment.
Well, the good news for Rob Huff is that Ivan Muller is rarely close enough in his mirrors. Here he goes. No, not this time. Thought about throwing it up the inside into turn 4. And didn't have enough momentum going. Ooh, I know. Now, see, they think it's all under control there. To us, though, it looks very hard in the mouth.
He's looking. It's only going to take one slip up.
Rob's going to have to go over or under here somewhere, isn't he? He's tried left and right and left and right. He's looked sort of everywhere on every turn. What can he produce? Muller again drifting out wide on the exit of the turn there. This is a really quick bit of the circuit. Using all the runoff there to set himself up for the other 2 right-handers that follow. This is 12, 13, 14 out very wide indeed. See from the tyre marks that there's been several who've been out an awful lot wider. Then corner 15 again, one of those horrible tyre stacks on the outside, and Dahlgren meandered there all over the curbs, got close to that. Katzberg looking down the inside of him. That will be the battle for 7th place, as Chilton again comes across the line in second ahead of Rob Huff. Gabriele Tarquini, by the way, leading by 5.5 seconds at the end of the last lap. And as they go across the line, he's added nearly another second to that.
Chilton just hanging on. He's carrying more weight than the Honda as well. I'm just thinking of tyre wear as we go into the final 3 or 4 laps.
Weighs 50 kilos more than the Honda, with Jimmy T's swivelly roofy cam showing Jose Maria Lopez has gone by him. So Thompson down to 10th, Lopez up to 9th. So that is the incident between Nicky Katzberg and James Thompson being investigated, where Katzberg eased his way inside Thompson. Well, was that an unfair racing move, where he just got inside Jimmy T into the into corner 15 or 16
at that point, Martin?
Yeah, it was just a tiny little touch. That's not it. That's Lopez going by Thompson that we missed a moment or 2 ago. We were following the battle in front of them. That was a clean enough pass.
This weekend, yeah.
Can you think of any instances where Lopez has had to thump or bash his way through.
Do you want to ask Montero that?
Yeah, well, don't know. Can't be that many.
No, he's. I mean,
he does have the
super clean
ability
driver.
to make a wide touring car very narrow when there's a gap, doesn't he? His precision is quite remarkable in these things. The champion's on the door, by the way. If you get to see the car in a bit of a shadow, that is light reflective. So all the pictures that have been taken at night, if the camera, if the photographer backs off the shutter speed a little bit and doesn't let too much light in, has a flash to infill, you get a nice little reflective champions down the side of the Citroën. Robert Dahlgren chasing Ted Björk. They're 6th and 7th at the moment.
Volvo running status quo there. They should be doing a bit better with their weight advantage as well on 0 kilos, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for them at the moment.
Ivan Muller's #1 fan, Vicky Butler, says that 1969 is the year of Ivan's birth. Yeah, it is now. 68 is the region of Alsace where he and Sebastian Loeb both come from, in fact. So that's what I was always told about the 68 deal on the car. 68, 69, well, you know, what's an age? It's just a number. Ask Gabriele Tarquini, the man that we haven't seen very much of because he's leading by miles, leading last time round by 7 seconds. We're not even seeing him in a long shot anymore.
Maybe that was him at the back of the thing because he was just coming around to lap
Is he
everyone.
coming around to lap them all? He's proper Top Gear Ted, isn't he? There he is, look.
There he goes.
That was him. 2 corners ahead. 3 corners ahead.
Come on, Gabriele, this will be fantastic for you to win this.
Oh, fantastic. The problem is nobody's going to see it, but we'll hear from him afterwards, that's for sure. Tom Chilton in 2nd, Rob Huff, car number 12 in 3rd in the Castrol Honda Civic. Rob feeling wrung out with a bit of a virus from last week or so. He was in Macau last week watching the Macau Grand Prix. Formula 3, GTs, touring cars, all racing there. And it does seem as though Macau will be part of the 2017 FIA World Touring Car Championship calendar, which will give him a chance to go for a career win. What is it now, 26 and 27 or something? He's got several wins there. Is it 8 wins Rob Huff's had there?
Yeah, 8 wins.
8 wins. 8. I mean, crikey.
I think he's the most successful touring car driver around there, isn't he?
Yes, yes. By some margin from even the likes of Duncan Heisman, who's gone there many times. Daniel Naj ahead of Tom Coronel, and behind Coronel is Ferenc Fischer, and Fischer in that Zengo Motorsport Honda. Coronel's eyes very definitely on the mirrors there down the straight, wondering which way Fischer's going to go. He's not a driver that many in the field will have spent a lot of time in close proximity with, and so quite where he's likely to make an attack, or if he's likely to make an attack, I think is a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, which makes it unnerving to drive with them. Sometimes, even if you know they're going to have an attack, it's because you know how to read them.
You don't worry
you're
about
prepared,
it.
You're mentally prepared for what's coming.
Yeah, there'll be some drivers, you know, who are going to come and it's going to be a clean move that's going to make you surrender.
His lights started flashing then. I thought he might have just hit the speed limiter.
There are some, I'm sure, that you're aware of who will come alongside and you're going to feel the impact.
You know it's coming, but you prepare for it, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's okay, but...
Yeah. It's taken as read. There's Nicky Katzberg in the 2nd of our larders. 8th place for him. Jose Maria Lopez closing in behind, and he's stuck behind the Volvos. Tom Chilton still 2nd, 7.7 seconds behind Gabriele Tarquini. So then it's Chilton and Huff, little gap, Muller, Mikulits, Björk, Dahlgren, Katzberg, little gap, Lopez, more little gap to Thompson, our final point scorer. And I don't really want to take my eyes off the screen to try and see whether Daniel Naj has not scored points. Ferenc Fischer has, though. He finished in 9th place in Moscow, so he has scored championship points in race 2 in Moscow. So Daniel Nagy has not. Ferenc Fischer has. At the moment, Daniel Nagy in 11th. Now we're on lap 13 of 14, and it has not yet come to grief anywhere. So I'm afraid at the moment Daniel Nagy is not going to score a point. But if somebody makes contact with somebody and one of them fails to finish, and what were the odds with 12 laps to go that it would be clean all the way through, having had a red flag on the first lap?
Chilton still hasn't managed to shake off, has he?
No. Here is our battle for second place then. Tom Chilton in the Citroen, Rob Huff in the Honda. And those tyre stacks again are being increasingly worried by the drivers. Ivar Muller in the red and black Citroen ahead of Norbert Mikulits, the two blue Volvos. And then Nicky Katzberg in the bright yellow and orange Lada. And way out front, Gabriele Tarquini. He's rolled off the throttle a bit. He hasn't increased the gap by a second this lap, only by a couple of tenths. He is taking it easy. Let's hope he's not hearing funny noises, because if this is to be his last weekend in the World Touring Car Championship, Gabriele Tarquini, it would be great to see old Spider-Man get another win.
Well, it sends a great message to any potential employers looking for a experienced exponent out there who knows the category inside out.
And to all other 50-year-olds or even 40-year-olds who are thinking maybe of retiring soon from touring cars. No, keep going. As long as Tarquini's still driving, there's no excuse to hang up your helmet.
Age is but a state of mind.
Yeah, these young whippersnappers like Mark Webber and Jenson Button, who haven't even hit 40. I mean, what's that about? Gabriele Tarquini may well still be racing professionally when he's 60. If he loves it the way he's loving today, why wouldn't you? Heading on to the final lap, what will be the margin of victory? It'll be close to 10 seconds. Thiago Montero's car is going back together, because they must surely have had the corners off it already. But what a race against time for the Castrol Honda team. Last lap of the race has Huff. He hasn't given up, never give up, as Thiago said. But has he got anything left? He's been stuck in the turbulent air behind Tom Chilton, so his tyres will have worked harder, his brakes will have worked harder. A car that was initially maybe even quicker than the Citroen probably isn't anymore, and Chilton just seems to have a little bit more grip. He's actually easing away from Huff on the last lap or so. Björk in a Volvo might fancy a bit of a pop at Norbert Mikulits on this final lap. I'm not sure we're going to see too many changes here, though. Little gap behind Lopez. Lopez making not an awful lot of progress, got up to 9th. James Thompson 10th, Daniel Nagy in 11th in the green and black Honda. There's Ivar Muller, that bright, luminous champions down the side of the Citroen. And he too is pulling away a little from Norby. Well, Gabriele Tarquini won the opener in Moscow for Lada, the Russian team's first home victory, which was backed up, of course, by a main race win for them by Nicky Katzberg, who finished second to Tarquini, and Tarquini then finished second to him. And they're not going to be 1-2 here today in this opening race, but Gabriele Tarquini.
Very good job, bravo Gabriele, very good job, bravo!
Forza Gabriele, what a great race.
Well done, this is for you, all the mechanics, all the staff, all other team. Thank you everybody for the great season. I enjoyed so much. I was on the fantastic car today, fantastic car. Thank you.
Well, really a little bit of a shame with all the potential that that car had, that we're not going to see them racing again next year, because that car still got a really good winch of development, could be a regular race winner. Gabriele Tarquini proves it again. It's Lada's third win this season, Tarquini's second. Jose Maria. Right now, though, the focus of attention is with Gabriele Tarquini.
It's interesting. It would have been interesting if Chilton could have held on a bit longer, how long he could have held Tarquini back, because Tarquini was ballistically fast
in
that first 2/3 of the race. So it could have made for some a fair few sparks.
Tarquini's fastest lap, 2-minute 1.75. Nobody else in the 2-minute ones. Nobody else in the 2-minute ones. Next fastest lap.
2-minute 2.9.
Yeah.
No, 2-minute 2.3 off
Mehdi Banani after his drive-through when he was on his own.